Hey, welcome everybody to Top Pitch, I want to especially extend my thank you to the judges who are here. Thank you to all of you who are attending, and thank you especially to the 5 companies who will be presenting. Before we get into that, I want to kind of just give you a little update on TiE. TiE Philadelphia is a local chapter of a larger global organization, which is all about empowering and fostering the entrepreneur ecosystem in the locations we're in. So we're TiE Philadelphia. One of the events that we do as part of that is conduct a top pitch here, along with our partner PACT. And what we have done over the last almost 5 years is conduct this every quarter, and the winning pitch ends up going to the PACT Capital Conference. And over the last couple of years, the winners from this event have gone on to raise money at the Lion's Den and through other PACT networking events as well. So we've been phenomenally blessed and successful with these events and with great companies. In terms of the audience, we have a mix of investors. We have active angel investors, venture capital company folks in here. We have entrepreneurs and founders, as well as some of our partners and sponsors. And so I want to thank our sponsors. Comcast, NBC Universal, Lyft Labs has been our sponsor for the entire duration for the last several years. We also have Osage Venture Partners, and I want to thank them for that as well. And finally, before we can shift to the next person up here, I want to give a shout out to all the TiE charter members who are here. TiE charter members are successful entrepreneurs or investors in the local area here in Philadelphia, and they're kind of the lifeblood of TiE Philadelphia. Helping companies, mentoring companies, investing in companies, advising companies, all just primarily to kind of just get the ecosystem going here. And so for that, thank you to all the charter members who are on today. And with that, I'd like to welcome Luke Butler, if Luke is on. And if Luke is not with us right now, but I wanted to say thank you again to Comcast Lyft Labs for being a phenomenal partner to us. I want to just then announce and bring up Doc Pargi, who is president of TiE, who will introduce our panel and our first company.
Thanks, Aljit, for that wonderful welcome. So everybody, thank you for coming. We hope the light is at the end of the tunnel where we can start doing live events, at some point. So thanks again for attending this wonderful virtual event. What I wanted to do is the 3 judges. It's a great investor panel. The first judge is Bob Kothari, who is a TiE charter member, and also the Chief Revenue Officer of Trax Retail, which is a global retail AI company. Also, previously, he was a founding member of Procurian, which had a spectacular exit to Accenture, and has been in the community for quite a while. So happy to have Bob join. Our next judge is Melissa Ludwig. So Melissa is an active investor, corporate board member, retail executive. She sits on the executive committee of Broad Street Angels with me, and quite active, and happy to get her mind share, because this is that kind of early stage angel stuff is right in her world. And then finally, and last but not least, we have Scott Nissenbaum, who's the president and CEO of Ben Franklin Technology Partners. Scott has been the CEO now for six months. I'm happy to serve on the board of Ben Franklin and witness the leadership transition. And like I said, Scott's also been in the community for quite a while as a VC, and then as Chief Investment Officer of Ben Franklin before taking this role. So a really strong panel of judges, and I'm sure they look forward to seeing our companies. So without further ado, I'll introduce our first company. We have Julie Bula, who was one of the co-founders of Sweft.
You're seeing my screen okay? Hello?
Yes, everything's there.
Yes, we can.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Great. All right. Sweft is SaaS software that automates the workflow of digital asset creation to help retailers of all sizes quickly and profitably scale their online businesses. We do this by automating processes, connecting teams, and reducing reliance on manual entry Excel spreadsheets. Our solution is built, and we are live with our first paying client, Rockler Woodworking. This is a product detail page from a website. It includes what are known as digital assets. These are the images, item description, and additional information that a retailer shares with its customers to help them determine if this is the item that they wish to purchase. Most customers do not realize that it takes over 100 steps to create the digital assets necessary for each item's product detail page. We have spoken to multiple retailers of all sizes in all different industries who have confirmed that this is an accurate representation of the teams and communication necessary to create the digital assets required to launch their products. Keep in mind that at each one of these points, there is the potential for additional costs from operational inefficiency, as well as lost sales and margin from product launch delays. Survey results show that 94%, or almost 6,000 US retailers of all sizes, are using Excel spreadsheets to manage the digital asset creation for over 14 million new products each year. This results in lost sales, lost margin, and lost profit from a combination of operational inefficiency, incorrect or incomplete information being given to customers, and product launch delays. Sweft is the first automated end-to-end solution for the entire digital asset creation process, from product selection to product launch. Sweft uses a centralized product database that easily integrates with a client's existing systems to provide a 360-degree view of product data with a single point of entry and immediate visibility to all. A clean and simple dashboard creates access to workspaces, priority alerts by both team and role, product-specific messaging, and KPIs. A click-through of a priority alert, like Receive Not Activated, brings the user to a product grid that intentionally looks and feels like Excel to promote easy and fast user adoption. Sweft also includes a variety of document templates that can be easily populated and then printed or saved to PDF. The end results of using Sweft are increased sales, margins, and profits that we conservatively estimate to be in excess of 20% from a combination of the shown KPIs. The US market opportunity for Sweft is huge at over $3 billion from 6,200 retailers and growing at a greater than 20% 5-year CAGR. Sweft follows a SaaS business model where revenue is primarily generated from subscription fees charged based on the number of users and modules a client adopts. Within 5 years, we are projecting that over 80% of our total revenue will be from ARR. With solid strategy, execution, and support, by 2025, we are projecting to have over 400 live clients and $62 million in ARR. My two co-founders, Michael Robinson and Rajana Sharma, and I are uniquely qualified to be the first team to bring an automated end-to-end solution for the entire digital asset creation process to the retail industry. Combined, we have over 70 years of retail experience ourselves, including partnering for almost 10 years to grow Anthropologie.com from zero to over $200 million. We are currently raising $750,000 via a convertible note. We have $300,000 received or committed and $300,000 soft circled. Now, more than ever, retailers need technology that helps them quickly and profitably scale their online businesses. Built by retailers for retailers, Sweft is the solution they need to take their businesses to the next level. Thank you, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Okay, thank you, Julie. Judges, 5 minutes.
Hi, Julie. This is Bob Kothari. Can you hear me?
Hi, I can. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that presentation. That was really great.
Thank you.
Couple questions. Who do you sell to within the retailer? And given that folks are using largely Excel, this would be probably new budget that they have to create. How do you work through that?
So we are selling to the head of e-commerce or the head of marketing, chief digital officer, and really we're getting around it with the operational savings as well as the increases in sales that we're able to provide by getting higher conversion rates and lower returns.
Is there a lot of pilots involved early?
No, at this point, we essentially were the pilot with our experience in Anthropology where we use the solution, and Urban Outfitters actually continues to use the original version that was developed for all of their .com businesses. And then we have Rockler as our live client on the current SaaS version.
Thank you.
Hi, Julie. Scott Nissenbaum here.
Hi, Scott.
Good to see you. And so if you can, obviously as someone, I do all my shopping online. And so I see the product pages and see the differentiation between good and bad and non-existent. And so how do you compare against the competition that's out there and differentiate yourself?
Well, we are really, surprisingly, as an automated, truly end-to-end solution for digital asset creation, we are the only solution that does it from product selection to product launch. The competitors are really point solutions that would compete with one of our 7 modules, but they don't actually take the retailer from start to finish.
Okay, thank you. You're on mute, Melissa.
Thank you. Hi, Julie. Thank you.
Hi, Melissa.
Thank you for the presentation. And coming from this world, I guess my question to you is, who is your target audience as of now? Like what size retailer are you looking to capture?
So right now we're targeting what we call small to mid-sized traditional retailers. So $50 million to $500 million retailer that originally started their business as either a brick and mortar or catalog business and then moved into online selling as an additional revenue source, because they really need the emerging technology to catch up and become or remain competitive with the digital native brands like an Amazon or a Wayfair.
Right. And then a follow-up to that is, what's the timeline if someone was to put this into their system for them to transition their old system to your new system? What does that timeline look like?
So that's going to be, dependent on their size and dependent on whether or not, how many of their existing solutions they're integrating with us. We're always going to integrate with an ERP and the platform at the front end and the back end. So that could be like a 3 to 4 month process.
Okay. And you mentioned something about returns. Reducing returns. Have you had success with that? And I'm assuming with Anthropology, you saw some level of improvement there to make that statement. So what does that average? If you could just give us an average on that.
So that what we've seen and what we've experienced and what our research has shown us is that could be up to a 40% reduction, because the additional operational efficiency is allowing the copywriters to focus on providing better content versus just getting something on the page. That better content is allowing the customer to have a better managed expectation of what they're going to actually receive. So not only are they going to have a better description with more information in the copy, but there's also better imagery because there's more shot direction that's possible. So, what they're going to get what they receive is more closely in line with what they expected to receive, which is going to reduce their need to return something.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Julie, one
And this
other
this is the final question, guys.
Okay, thanks, Doc. The question I had was more about what's the average ticket size for a purchase? Like, what are you estimating to get to that 62 million in ARR?
Sure. So that really is dependent on the number of client or the number of users and the number of modules that the client adopts. So at the small $50 to $250 million retailer, we estimate that their ARR is going to be about $75,000 a year for the full solution. The next tier in the 250 to 500 is going to be in the 150 range. And then that continues to go up into $500,000 or more once you get into an enterprise, multi-brand retailer, which is where ultimately we see our sweet spot to be.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And if you would like to turn your mics off, I want to invite Bruce Marable from Employeecycle up for the next presentation. You can share the screen as well, Bruce.
Right. All right, does everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bruce Marable, CEO of Employeecycle. And after leading my previous startup to an exit, I realized that in the HR space, there's a huge opportunity around and problem around helping HR leaders become smarter and more data-driven. Over the past 3 to 5 years, HR has been slowly transforming itself to the data-driven role of people operations, yet unfortunately, they haven't been able to live up to the promise of being able to proactively identify small workforce issues before they become big problems. They should be able to solve problems like identifying turnover risk, identifying gender pay gaps, identifying when you have low employee engagement, but unfortunately, HR just hasn't been able to get it done. And one of the biggest reasons why they can't do it is because when they're looking to use HR data, they have all these painful and disconnected HR data silos because most companies today are using mini systems, creating all these different separate data silos, which is forcing HR to go through the painful, manual, and tedious process of exporting manual, crappy, and terrible spreadsheets, trying to pull them all together to tell one comprehensive data-driven story of the workforce. But because most HR leaders lack the professional experience around data visualization and data analysis, they're just reporting for reporting's sake. And they spend 90% of their time trying to pull data together versus spending most of their time actually trying to understand what this data is telling them. And so that's why we've created Employeecycle, all-in-one people dashboard that has pre-built integrations to the most popular HR systems out there, pulling all your data into one streamlined, beautiful, and automated HR dashboard. The way it works is pretty simple. You create an account, you connect your different HR systems, and then within hours, you get instant time to value to view, share, track, and analyze all your data in one place. We've built a lot of integrations across the most popular HR tech categories, including HRIS payroll, applicant tracking, employee engagement, performance, and employer brand. And over the next 3 months, we're building across learning management systems, standalone OKR platforms, and also and learning management systems. We've built integrations to all the systems at the top, and we're currently building systems to the system. Today, in order to validate our go-to-market, we have closed 19 paying customers, generating $66,000 in ARR, and we've also started to validate and test our go-to-market strategy, which is a combination of outbound and inbound. And so we have outbound sales, content marketing to fill the top of the funnel. We have a free trial to remove friction from the sales process, and we're also closed a major partner, the leading HR trade publication, they're reselling Employeecycle, as well as selling through benefit brokers and HR consultants. In regards to our market, we're targeting companies between 50 and 1,000 employees, and to align to their budget, our pricing model is $3 per employee per month, billed on an annual basis, with a minimum of $500. When you combine the size of our target market at the ACV that we're projecting over the next few years, we're looking at a bottoms-up approach market size of $5 billion. Our paying customers love our platform. Most of the companies we have today are between 50 and 500 employees, made up of tech companies. And so you can see here some of the companies you may recognize, or like Axios Media, and our companies look at our system like it's magic as we automatically pull their data together. There are very few companies in our space, and so today we're primarily competing against spreadsheets. When we sell to companies, they're not asking us how are we better than our competition, they're asking us how does this work? And so we educate them on our 10x value against their spreadsheets. We're automatically pulling their data and streamlining this process, which they can't do in spreadsheets. Our big vision is not to just be an HR dashboard. Our HR dashboard was simply a wedge into the market, which allowed us to understand that there's a much larger surface area across the problem that we're solving. And so we're looking to become an employee data platform. We're similar to iOS or Android. We're the underlying platform from all your HR data, and all the different systems you're using are just apps that you'll inevitably change over time. We've built a team that are not only made of the smartest people around, but people that have the professional experience in our space, giving us key market fit. Between myself and my co-founder, who have experience in the HR tech space and data analytics, and then we also have software engineers in our space as well. We're raising $1 million. We've already closed 900,000, and that is going to help us achieve product market fit, build more integrations, increase marketing, increase our data security, and close 30 paying customers. Thank you so much. And if you believe that employees are a company's greatest asset, then you believe in Employeecycle.
Judges, 5 minutes.
So Bruce, maybe I'll go first here this time. Good to see you again, and nice job. What's the, I saw some of the stats on the dashboard, but what's, from an HR standpoint, what's the aha or the key item or items or insights that they say, okay, I get this, like this is, let's sign up?
I love that question. The reason why it's a moving target is that HR is one of the areas where they're constantly focusing on different priorities quarter over quarter. And so depending on where the company is in its growth stage, sometimes the most important metrics are recruiting because you're growing fast. And so now you want to make sure that you actually have a recruiting pipeline and that you're hiring as quickly and efficiently as possible. So then you're looking at metrics like time to hire, time to fill, where are candidates coming from, candidate sources, to make sure that you're actually paying for the right sources that are actually driving hired candidates versus wasting their money. We had a big situation around George Floyd and diversity and DEI, and so that's been driving a lot of companies to look at DEI metrics. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case a few years ago, but now it is. And so now a lot of companies are looking at that. If you're at a place where you're growing, but now you want to hold on to your talent, right now we're dealing with an impressive and unfortunate talent crunch. And so a lot of companies are looking at turnover metrics. So they want to understand their turnover cost. They want to understand where people are turning over, how quickly they're turning over. Are they turning over in different levels? Are we losing key management versus individual contributors? And so the reason why we're pulling all the data together is because you really need to understand the entire employee lifecycle and all those data-driven inflection points versus any section of it at any given time.
Thank you.
So Bruce, it's Melissa Ludwig, and thank you for the presentation. My question is, are you familiar with PeopleSoft?
Yes.
And so what would be the difference between what your product is versus PeopleSoft?
Great question. So the reason why you didn't see PeopleSoft on our list is because we don't target the enterprise. And the way that we look at this is big companies have more money than time. Small companies have more time than money. What that means, a large company, for better or for worse, will try to implement a system like SuccessFactors, PeopleSoft, or Workday. Even though 50% of people seem to not like those systems, they'll buy them because it's like IBM. You don't get fired for buying Workday or PeopleSoft. What happens is that you'll try to use those systems and you'll sacrifice best-in-breed solutions in order to have all your data in one place. But most HR leaders just don't like all the individual modules. They just want their data in one place. Small and medium companies are looking to complement their lack of a large HR team by buying a lot of point solutions that forces them to have all these great individual solutions, but they have to sacrifice data in one place. And so for them, they wouldn't be using a PeopleSoft. They're going to use a lot of disconnected systems, just like you would in any other department when you're a small and medium company, to get the most value from those systems. But then that's where Employeecycle comes into play to unify all that data into one view.
Okay, thank you for that.
Hey, Bruce, Bob Kothari, thanks for your presentation. Really, really crisp, really well presented. Thank you for putting the time into that. A couple questions. One is sales cycle. What have you learned about your 19 customers on sales cycle?
Great.
It sounds like you have a very strong lead generation and tools to drive that. What does that look like for the 19?
And so currently to date, we're looking at a 60-day sales cycle, and we're looking at a 15% close rate of sales qualified leads. And so after they convert from NQLs to SQLs, then we're looking at a 15% close rate.
Okay. And I think if I got this right, one of the big things capability-wise, this is slightly different now, it's on the product side, is you're doing a lot of integrations.
Yes.
Which are fraught with a lot of, you got two hands that got to connect all the time with a lot of data that needs to speak to each other and then be aggregated, I guess, if you have multiple. Who's behind that, and how is that kind of infrastructure being built out?
Love this question as well. We built a very scalable and comprehensive data ingester in the beginning, and that's where a significant amount of capital went to in the beginning. And so that as we scale, we now can build integrations within 2 to 3 weeks. So we literally just built an integration to UltiPro in 3 weeks, which it would have taken another company 6 months to build. And so our data ingester allows us to be able to build new systems. And if we're building a system that's in an existing category, so let's just say UltiPro was a part of our HRIS payroll system, because we use pre-built templates, we're literally just mapping that to the existing data structure of all the other systems, giving us the ability to be able to just connect that to the ingester and then spin up a dashboard pretty quickly. It might take us a little bit more time where we're building a net new category, but for the most part, we're able to build integrations very quickly.
And that's the final question. Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Hey, next up, thank you, Bruce. And next up, I'd like to invite Adit Gupta with Lula. And Bruce, you could take here. Adit, if you could turn your camera and microphone on, that'll be great. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Can you hear me and see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful. My name is Adit, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Lula. We power delivery from convenience stores. So there are about 150,000 convenience stores nationally, and about a third of millennials go to a convenience store at least once a week, according to Forbes, to get a meal. About a third of the country goes to a convenience store every single day and shops for about $10. If a company like GoPuff that has over 250 distribution sites nationally can be a $10 billion brand, why aren't we tapping into the 150,000 convenience stores that are pre-built in this nation? And why we care about convenience stores is because my parents owned one for over 10 years. And during the pandemic, it closed down. And when that experience was happening, we tried to get their inventory on different software, Grubhub, Amazon, Shopify, and it was the hardest experience to get over 4,000 items digitized and online. We can't afford to pay 30% commissions. And secondly, when we get our items up there, no one's going to shop from a company that doesn't have a brand. So that's why we built Lula. Lula helps convenience stores get online in under a week and deliver their thousands of products to millions of people. We connect with their POS system, or if they don't have one, we digitize their entire store using our computer vision software and other techniques in order to get their items on every single delivery site out there. We're the one software they can connect with and scan their products, which lets them create their virtual stores on DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats, and tons of sites out there. We give them the bags, we give them the marketing material and the brand to then take advantage of hundreds of millions of customers that are shopping on existing brands to drive sales for instant needs items from their stores. We're currently live in 4 states. We have over 40 convenience stores that They're working with us in a pilot capacity, and about 50 to 60 other convenience stores from chains that we're going to partner with over the next 30 days. We were voted as one of the top 10 startups in Philadelphia in 2021, and we've gotten investments from SOSV, Exelon, Plug and Play Ventures, and Juno Partners. Lula is a little bit different than traditional delivery companies, where we're not actually delivering anything. We're taking advantage of existing fleets to digitize existing convenience stores and provide our SaaS platform by then getting the 3,000 to 4,000 items in each store on every delivery platform out there. And how it really works for convenience stores is we give them our app. We charge them $100 a month, and we say every single item that's ordered from any single delivery site out there is all going to come in one place. We're going to give you the customer support. We're going to give you everything you need to be successful. We upcharge items 50 to 300% and deliver each item to customers' homes in under 30 minutes. We were incorporated in Q4 of 2020, and since then, by the end of Q1, we've raised close to $800,000 from SOSV, Exelon, Plug and Play, and other angels in the Philly area. The milestone we're working towards is 150 to 200 stores, after which we can raise about $2 to $3 million in a pre-series A. That's going to get us to about 1,000 stores. By the end of 2021, we're going to close out the year with about $360 to $400,000. And going forward, the reason why Tom and I are building this company is because we've worked together for a prior startup for over 3 years. We built it from the ground up. One of our top customers was Saxby's. We were there in 40 locations. And while that business ended, we learned a lot in that process. Mars, that was an investor and advisor, has joined our team as our CFO and COO and has multiple exits under his belt. So I'd like to join everyone in helping us digitize the country's backbone and helping stores deliver their items to millions of people online. Thank you. I'm looking forward to your questions.
Thanks, Audit. Judges, 5 minutes.
So happy to jump in here, and same question that I posed to the first, which is, competitive landscape. I know you're integrating in the middle. You look at something like a GoPuff and sort of the retail partnerships. How do you fit into the growing and fiercely competitive landscape?
That's a great question. So we think of ourselves as a single-sided marketplace, and our growth opportunity ultimately comes from distributors. We're already working with some of the top distributors nationally to get to a few thousand stores. And on a growth opportunity, one thing to consider is while other delivery companies are taking advantage of existing infrastructures, we are building that infrastructure and owning it for convenience stores.
Have you had any pushback on the pricing, sort of the upsell or the sort of increase?
Good question. So when we started this business, we were actually a commission-based business. We realized that charging 10% commission is still a lot for convenience stores because their bottom line is quite low. We then changed our model to $50 a month, and we realized stores were actually willing to pay up to $150 a month. So we're now A/B testing between $100 and $150 a month per store. On the consumer side, for that upcharge, we already see, even though we're upcharging a slight amount, our prices are comparable and sometimes even cheaper than GoPuff, often cheaper than CVS and Walgreens.
On that, this is maybe a lack of my understanding of GoPuff, but would that be a head-to-head competitor? They're doing the same sets of services, the different pricing model, or how's that?
So GoPuff is a vertically integrated supply chain. They will spend $2 to $3 million more sometimes building their distribution center. We are taking that convenience store and converting it into a distribution center. And then the second thing on top of that is GoPuff has a lot of CapEx launching in new markets, and we've been able to launch in new markets without a tremendous amount of capital.
So hi, it's Melissa Ludwig, and thank you for the presentation and joining us. So my question to you is, you really seem to be the solution for the existing specialty stores that haven't had a vessel, if you will, to move their inventory into a online system. That seems to be where your real value proposition is. So when you digitalize a store, are you at all using a benchmark for inventory? So is there an inventory issue to ensure that you're, when you are doing a point and click, that there is an on hand within that store? Is there a threshold that you're looking for?
Great question, Melissa. For a lot of the convenience stores, they're often using a POS system, kind of like a Commander, which is the gold standard in this market.
Mm-hmm.
We will integrate and get all those items in our platform. Secondly, there may be instances where those items are not available in that store.
Right.
Well,
Right.
we built mechanisms where the store can actually substitute that item for the customer and be in direct communication with the customer through clicks, which is not available if they just sign up their store on Uber Eats or Grubhub. Why we're able to do that is because we have an integration on an API level.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Bob Kothari again. Another question on the core competency of the company. You mentioned computer vision. That's a whole competency in its own right. It's a whole other sets of competencies it seems you need to have here, delivery and logistics and things of that nature. Just tell me a little bit about the depth of the expertise and capability you have in these areas.
Great question, Bob. So my background is I graduated from Drexel for my undergrad in software engineering, and I'm finishing up my PhD in computer science. And our digitization process actually takes into account taking brands and QR codes and other barcodes from pictures, but ultimately an additional process that actually doesn't require a lot of intensive computer vision software, which is taking these videos of aisles and extracting each item into Excel sheets, which then goes into our funnel to go online. So this process and MVP has already been built and it's in use that's how we got the first 40 stores online.
Great. And that is the final question. Thank you, Audit. Great job.
Thank you.
Next up, let me invite Greg from Audience, Greg Weinstein from Audience Genomics. If you could turn your camera and microphone on. Thank you, Greg. Welcome.
Thank you. Okay. Can everybody hear me and see my screen?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So Audience Genomics is a new marketing insights platform that helps marketers and influencers get their audience by understanding what matters to them so they could deliver efficient marketing content that resonates. You all have heard this problem before by Philly's own Wanamaker. The problem is the same today as it was 100 years ago when he first said it. And what I will posit is the main reason that advertising is wasted is that marketers do not understand where to reach their audience or what messages will resonate with them. Unfortunately, there are really not many good solutions for creative development people. These are people who are developing the ads and the content marketing to understand what messages are going to resonate. The majority of marketers, brand builders, and creatives operate on gut and guessing. And even when they're in the fortunate position of being able to understand, to receive enterprise level research, like a Nielsen or a ComScore, they don't use it because it's not in their language. It's quantitative and it's not in the language of creatives. So we've set out to solve that problem by making social media the world's largest focus group. We collect millions of data points against a brand, the content they put out, and their followers' interest behaviors, as well as all of those things for their competitors. And we are able to identify, for example, if you are a outerwear brand, that your audience core values are benevolence, your content preference is the TV show Billions, and your follower is interested in Bentleys and Bitcoin, you're going to market to that audience far differently than if you understood that their core values were freedom, their content preference was Family Feud, and their follower interest was fishing. So we have validated our tool. We came out in fall of 2019. We came out strong in the Hollywood community. We worked on 4 of the top 10 film franchises of all time, including Jurassic Park and Harry Potter. We were working on big, high-price custom studies that had long lead cycles, high touch, and provided deep detail. But COVID closed the door on Hollywood. We recognized that it opened up a window for us in e-commerce. E-commerce, new storefronts increased on Shopify by 70%, and we recognized that there is an opportunity to shift our market focus to smaller customers with shorter sales cycles, lower touch, more scale by delivering them monthly automated reports. We're selling to e-commerce companies and influencers. The e-commerce companies typically targeting marketers in companies that are about 2 to 10 people. It's the overall research market we believe we can grow into. The overall research market is a huge market. It's $74 billion. We believe that our obtainable section of that market is $332 million. Why do we believe that? Well, our competitive advantages. Among our competitive set, we're in a new category called audience intelligence. There's about a dozen in the market right now. These are 6 of the biggest. Only one of them is going after small and medium-sized businesses. The rest are going after enterprise. And we deliver far more value. Everybody else only offers interest analysis. We offer content and core values and include competitive analysis in every report. But probably the biggest differentiator is our approach. All the other solutions have been built by data people. My background is in content. I led content and marketing strategy for some of the world's leading media companies, and that has defined our approach. We built a stellar team around us, including Stephen Esposito, who recently sold a data-driven insights company named Driver's History to TransUnion. And Drew Hershkowitz is our lead tech advisor, who is a CTO of a hedge fund who's operating on using millions of data points to make strategic decisions.
So Greg, you're just about out of time. If you could finish up on this slide.
Fantastic. So we're looking to grow to about 33,000 subscribers by 2025, and looking to raise $1 million on a $5 million valuation. And the money will be used to build out our tech stack to increase speed and capacity, and to operate our marketing by building a Shopify app and apps for all the other storefront marketplaces, which is where we believe we're going to reach our customers. So thank you very much. Look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, Greg. Judges, 5 minutes.
So maybe just kick it off and talk a little bit about sort of how you would map out this world. I mean, as a layman not deep into ad tech, to be able to differentiate yourself, in the technology stack, and then with it, and then ultimately delivering the ROI. How would you compare against what is out there, and how do you see yourself fitting with some of the very well funded and sort of companies that have that called lead or first mover?
Sure. So the majority of companies in this space are operating on the audience targeting aspect of this equation, which is where you could reach your audience. There are no tools out there that are offering an automated analysis of what content is working with that audience. So most people handle that through A/B testing. This is a pre-A/B test tool, so that before you put your ads on Facebook, you have the research and insights to understand what is going to resonate with that audience, so you don't lose the time in testing your marketing, targeting, and messaging over weeks and months to identify what the optimal message is.
Have you seen a specific, or can you measure for your clients a specific, sort of increase or ROI above their existing?
Yes, the primary ROI is that they are able to increase conversions much faster. So typically, they can increase conversions over the course of 2 to 3 weeks by about 5%, and we can do that within about a week. So we're saving 2 weeks of time of ad spend before that message is optimized.
Hey, Greg, it's Bob Kothari. Thanks for really great storytelling, by the way, presentation. So thank you for that. The focus to SMB means a lot of scale in terms of the go-to-market. You got to get a lot of customers, 33,000 subscribers in the next few years, as you noted. What is the go-to-market strategy? What does that look like today? How are you evaluating the effectiveness of the current go-to-market?
Great. So we're right on the precipice of making that shift right now. Our focus is going to be in using our tech stack to primarily deliver in customer identification, to build freemium reports that we could send directly to customers with their first month of insights for free, to onboard them to become monthly report subscriber and buyers. In addition, I mentioned in the presentation, we believe that the digital storefront marketplace is going to be a very ripe area for us. So Shopify with 1.7 million storefronts, WooCommerce with 1.5 million, and Magneto with 250,000. They all have app marketplaces that allow third-party apps to be built in, so that we could hit people at the point that they're launching their store and offer them an opportunity to identify their customers and how to best reach those customers.
Thank you.
Greg, hi, it's Melissa Ludwig, and thanks again for joining us today and the great presentation. So if you could what is the size of your audience? A typical contract, what do you see as, the size of the company of which you're going to be targeting?
Sure. So currently we've been operating in the consulting space. We believe that we're going to continue to operate in that space, and we're having success. Those contracts are in the neighborhood of 7,500 to 15,000. And as we're moving toward the SaaS model, it's $150 per monthly report with upsells on top of that. We're projecting about an 18-month lifetime value per customer.
Sorry, what was the lifetime value?
18 months of subscription.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, I think we're just about out of time. So Greg, thank you for a nice presentation, and we'll go to the next company.
Great, and I'd like to welcome Tammy Williams with Envision Well, our final presenter of the evening.
Tammy, I think you're on mute.
Just when you think you've handled everything. Okay, thank you very much. You can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. I'm Tammy Williams, founder and CEO of Envision Well, Inc. We're a mission-driven digital health company that's also a for-profit social impact company. Hold on, I cannot get my screen to move here. Okay, thank you. The problem is unwellness and its impact on companies. It's become a hot topic since COVID, but chronic disease, stress, health disparities, disengagement, and mental health issues were a problem long before COVID. It's $1 trillion industry, and it was $1 trillion pre-COVID. Companies are losing money at unprecedented rates due to employee absenteeism stemming from chronic diseases, disengagement, and stress. The opportunity is tremendous. Being unwell has cost us over $1 trillion, but the workplace wellness market is a $10 billion opportunity by itself. And our target is at least 100 million of that $10 billion. Our solution, I'd like to introduce you to Envision Well. It's more than an app. It's a full platform to help people live healthier lives with personalized engagement, robust data, digital, social, and human experiences to support them on their wellness journey. You can access Envision Well anytime, anywhere. The workplace wellness platform includes a portal with dashboards, reports, analytics, and more. And Envision Well converges workplace and personal wellness while providing the necessary support through telecare, which we call telewellness. Now, what is our difference? Our difference is that our technology and programs are built with our proprietary model in mind called KISA. KISA is KSAA. That means knowledge, support, access, and autonomy. Knowledge that matters, so you have a clear picture of where you are and a roadmap of where you want to be. Support that's more than just wellness information fairs and traditional healthcare delivery systems. Access, so that desires and needs are made visible, useful, and accessible because it's mobile first. And autonomy. Employees who feel in control are more empowered and engaged, not only in workplace wellness programs, but in being an active contributor to the company's success. Envision Well is rooted in whole person health, looks at the social determinants of health, and meets people where they are on their journey to be healthier or just for their overall health. The underlying magic is it's about meeting people where they are with one resource. No more an app for this and an app for that. You know how they don't talk to one another. Our engaging interface, powerful data for personalization, action spurred through artificial intelligence and machine learning, it all leads to that ultimate user experience. We call this wellness reimagined. Our business model, we're a SaaS company. Our tiers are pretty straightforward with health and wellness practitioners, employers, in particular with self-insured employers, and finally, direct to consumer. We have a go-to market strategy with 3 main acquisition channels: marketing, sales, and partnerships. Our CRM has over 30,000 leads consisting of wellness, benefits, human resources, safety, and procurement contacts. We have gained some traction with 2,000 downloads and one account that we just signed that has signed 2 contracts with us, not just 1. Our competition falls in both the coaching and wellness companies. Those companies are typically, they're focusing in siloed areas, whereas we provide a comprehensive suite of products and services all in one platform. Our key team has over 130 years of experience collectively, and they all work full-time with us. Other capabilities that we have on our team include integrative health, nutrition, exercise physiology, sports nutrition, and others, all in the field of health and wellness. Our financials, as you can see, are pretty aggressive. And we have every reason, though, to be confident with these numbers due to being in discussion now with multiple enterprise accounts at this early stage. We know that we can provide maximum return on investment. Our ask, we're in the process of raising a seed round of 2.1 million. We bootstrapped over 400,000. We have raised 465,000, with 300,000 of that being funded by Ben Franklin Technology Partners. We need the money for commercialization, continued development, and compensation. Our preferred exit strategy is acquisition. We are in a hot market with the health and wellness industry, and every week there is a new acquisition or word of an IPO that is related to health and wellness. So finally, I want to just kind of let you know, I know that I'm preaching to the choir. We all know that this is a saturated and fragmented market. And we also know that with all the tools out there, that the needle isn't really moving towards a healthier society. We know that we have the answer and that we can do good while making good and that we can make good while doing good. It's why our legal structure is a public benefit corporation, and we're in review now to be certified as a B Corp. We've applied to NCQA for the Wellness and Health Promotion Certification and the Multicultural Healthcare Distinction. Everything costs money, and we've done a lot of the heavy lifting, but we need your investment to go to the next level. So if you believe that being healthy is more than just steps or losing weight, and that it's time to shift the focus from more traditional healthcare benefits model to an inclusive health and wellness model that serves both society and the company bottom line, now is the time to join us. Because as we say, now is the time to envision well with Envision to be well. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Nice job. Judges, turn it over to you. 5 minutes.
Tammy, I love the enthusiasm and thank you for the presentation. Obviously, as you mentioned, and the shout out for Ben Franklin, we're big fans. And talk a little bit about the customer acquisition strategy. The cost to actually, acquire and get and keep the customer.
So the customer acquisition strategy that we're using, first of all, we're both MBE and WBE certified. So we're certified as a woman-owned business and as a minority-owned business. And what that has done is it started to open doors for us to those large enterprise-level companies. We actually did not think that we'd even be talking to an enterprise company until maybe year 3. Whereas we are probably going to, it looks like we may close 1, possibly 2 of those enterprise level companies this year. Typically, it's a long sales cycle when it comes to enterprise, and we are really focused on those small to mid-sized businesses, anywhere from 100 up to 2,500 employees. But right now, it looks like we're very likely to close on one company that has close to 30,000 employees and the other with 16,000 in the US alone.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Tammy, it's Bob Kothari. Thank you. Also loved your enthusiasm throughout the presentation. Great to see. On that one corporate client that you have on the 2 services, what's the revenue associated with that? What does that look like?
So that particular client is what we consider to be a small client. They have around 123 employees, but they are global. So that one is going to be quite small. It's going to be under $10,000, but and they've signed a 1-year contract. Larger accounts are typically going to sign anywhere from a 3 to 5 year contract.
And what are you expecting on these 2 larger enterprise ones at the 30,000 and 16,000 employees? What's just ballparking kind of what the size of the average deal would look like?
Average deal on those would be between $300,000 and $500,000 per year.
Got it. Thank you.
Tammy, thanks again. Your enthusiasm is contagious. And my question is, what is protected at this point?
So we have several of our trademarks are with the USPTO. We have our, of course, trade secrets with our algorithms and those types of IP. We are looking at, we don't have any patents, but we have had consultation with our legal counsel, patent legal counsel at Fox Rothschild around potential process. We know that we can't patent an algorithm, but we can patent the process. And it looks like there's a very good possibility that we will be able to get a provisional on our process.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Tammy, you did such a nice job in your presentation. We don't have that many questions, so that's a good sign, I guess.
I just, if I can, I just like to say that having a company like Envision to be Well and what we're doing at Envision to be Well is massive, and we know that it's hard. We've been told over and over what you're doing is hard, but here lately we've been hearing what you're doing is hard, but we feel confident that the right people are at the forefront of trying to make this happen.
And is this as an individual something you can engage in, or do you have to do it through your employer or through your for the corporate entity?
Great question, because we are B2B2C. So businesses can use this product, but there's also the consumer side of it. We believe in democratizing social health empowerment for 360-degree well-being. It's all about whole person health. And so with that, what we want to do is to ensure that everyone has access to this. When we talk about KISA, knowledge, support, access, and autonomy, it's not just for those employers that say this is good for our employees to have, but it's also for those individuals that need access to this type of information. That's why we're going for the multicultural healthcare distinction with NCQA, which, by the way, we've been told by NCQA that when we receive that at the end of this year, we will be the first company of our kind, meaning in the wellness industry, the first one to actually have that distinction.
So Tammy, have you given consideration to tying into the EPIC system?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
We actually have Dr. Ken Cochran on our board, on our advisory board, who has discussed that with us. He is CEO and president of a healthcare system in Louisiana consisting of 5 hospitals. And so he's bringing actually some pretty creative ideas in addition to connecting to EPIC. Yes.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much, Tammy, and thank you to all the presenters, to Julie, to Bruce, to Adit, Greg as well. And at this time, as the judges deliberate, we will be shifting back into the networking element of the platform. But I invite every one of the audience members here to find the companies. They'll be at their own table. So each of the presenters will be at their own table. Make your way to those tables. If you cannot get in, just hold on. You will be able to get on there and ask your questions that the judges may not have asked. So we will move into the networking platform in a few minutes, and about 10 minutes or so, we'll announce the winners once the judges deliberate and find that. But thank you to all the presenters and the audience. If you could make your way to those tables, I would appreciate that very much. Thank you.
All right. So I got nominated to provide the feedback, and I'm happy to do it. First of all, again, it's really inspiring to be in this community of innovators and entrepreneurs, and the passion behind all of the companies and the problem you're trying to solve and how you're trying to solve it and the success you've had to date getting to this point. I'm just really in awe of all of you and really thankful to be in this network with you. With that said, we had to kind of tug of war on kind of where we would our votes would align, and I'm really happy to announce that the Employeecycle and Bruce and his team have kind of earned our vote for being the winner of this particular top pitch. So great job, Bruce.
Congratulations, Bruce.
Hey, thank you so much. Bob, and thank you to Melissa and Scott for your deliberations, for your insights, your advice, the questions. They're amazing, and so thank you. Thanks a lot again for your time and your participation as well. At this time, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors again: PACT, our partner, Comcast, NBC Universal, Lyft Labs, as well as Osage Venture Partners. And I invite every one of you to stay in the networking area, continue to network. We have another 20-30 minutes, so meet with the founders, meet with the judges if you'd like to, and continue to engage in the discussions there. And we will close out at 5 o'clock, but we have enough time. So feel free to get on a table, meet people you haven't met, talk to each other, figure out what's going on in the ecosystem and in the environment here in Philadelphia. Thanks again. Hopefully we'll be able to do this in person the next time. And we thank you again to Melissa, Bob, and Scott, as well as all the presenters today. And thank you. Congratulations to Bruce and Employeecycle.